Day 30. Who? Me? Who has made man's mouth? Or what makes the mute, the deaf, the seeing, or the blind? Have not I the Lord? Now therefore go, and I will be with you, with your mouth, and teach you what you shall say. Exodus 4:11 through 12. Whenever you wonder what God could possibly have been thinking when he called someone like you to such an extraordinary adventure of faith, remember an aging sheep herder with a bad temper and a bouted record. His name was Moses, one of the Old Testament's greatest leaders. He was also one of its most reluctant. His Jabez story starts in the outback of Midian, a desolate region to the east of Sinai Peninsula. After an earlier promising started as an adopted son in the course of Pharaoh, things go downhill fast. One day he happens upon an Egyptian master beating an Israelite. Enraged and thinking no one was looking, Moses killed the Egyptian and buries him in the sand. The next day when he tries to separate two scuffling Israelites, one of them say, "Who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptians?" Exodus 2:14. Feeling rejected by his own people and exposed as a murderer, Moses flees. For 40 years he hides in the desert, herding sheep and a man on the run from the failure of shame. But God still has plans for Moses. One day he speaks to him out of a burning bush, and what he presents is a Jabez-sized proposition. "I will send you to Pharaoh," God says, "that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt." Exodus 3:10. In view of his circumstances and his past record, Moses' response is understandable. "Who am I?" he asks. You can almost see his mouth hanging open. God's extraordinary future for him has thrown him into a full-scale identity crisis. Do you recognize that reflex? God plants a seed in your spirit, an unusual and exciting plan to enlarge your territory for him. But you see some things that God must have missed. You see, for example, what the other guys who succeeded seems to have that you don't. You see what it would take in personal sacrifices. You see your own story, existence, questionable past, difficult personalities, and risky skills. Why wouldn't God's extraordinary plan for you throw you into an identity crisis? If you look at the account of conversation between Moses and God, Exodus 3:5 through 4, you'll see Moses putting up one objection after another to the destiny God has in mind for him. Who am I that I should go? Who am I that I should lead? Who will I say has sent me? What if they don't believe me? After telling God that his main disqualification is that he's not a good talker, Moses winds up his defense with desperate plea. "Oh Lord, please send someone else to do it." Still God persists and prevails. I hope you didn't miss this desert standoff as some kind of dismiss this desert standoff as some kind of Sunday school millennium, complete with plastic sandals and cotton beards and cardboard cutout sheets. This is an identity crisis, and it is a defining moment in Moses' life. You see, all of his questions and concerns are good ones, and all of his feelings of inadequate are real. Yet after Moses says yes, God uses this shy, reluctant shepherd to accomplish one of the most amazing leadership feats in history. If you haven't arrived at this kind of turning point yet, you will one day. How do I know? Because to accomplish his miraculous kingdom work through you, God will have to call you past the truth about yourself and show that what really matters is the truth about himself. He will tell you, as he did Moses, "I am God. I am sending you. My power and presence will go with you. I will never forsake you." And that will be the beginning of your new identity. And unlike a hero whose God is strong enough, loving enough, trustworthy enough, and present enough to accomplish anything he calls you to do, Just in case you ever wonder what God could possibly be thinking when he calls someone like you, read the sheep herder's farewell speech, the whole book of Deuteronomy. You'll find a man who transformed by a lifetime of seeing what God can do, that he doesn't spend a moment bringing up what he can do or he can't do. My Jabez journal. What is the biggest endeavor for him that I could imagine God calling me to? How do I feel about it? Quote, and the Lord, he is the one who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you. Do not fear nor be dismayed. Moses to Joshua, his successor, in Deuteronomy 31:8. We do well to remember before we consign to contempt. This is the quote. We do well to remember before we consign to concept of spiritual leadership to the arena of superstar that we serve a God who invaded his planet as a small, fragile baby. Stacy Reinhardt. Only he who can see the invisible can be impossible. Frank Gaines. Now Jabez's prayer. And Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, oh, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my territory, that your hand would be with me, and that you would keep me from evil, that I may not cause pain. So God granted her what she requested.